Hello everybody and welcome to the drawing for the group stage of the Collegiate Cubing Championship 2026. We're so excited you're all here to watch us with this. This is going to be a very fun night. I'm your host. My name is Alex Gergis. I am one of the founders and co-organizers of the Collegiate Cubing Championship. Super excited to be here, and I'm joined by guest commentator Phil Yu, one of the co-founders and CEO of the Cubicle. How are you doing tonight, Phil?
Yeah, I'm doing great. This is really exciting. This is the second time we're running the Collegiate Cubing Championships. The first one was awesome. I was around college sports when I was in college and, before and after. And it's so cool that cubing has now become a collegiate activity and colleges all across the country can get together. So really excited to see what the second installment will look like.
For sure. Yeah, we're so excited to take cubing further into the mainstream, bringing it into college sports, making it even more and more relevant. And I think this year we're doing that on another level because this year's competition, in my humble opinion, is going to be much, much better than last year. And I'm going to give you guys some stats to talk about that. So last year we had 28 teams. This year we have 32. So we're upping the total. And these teams are much, much faster than last year. Last year, our slowest team average was 33 seconds. This year, the absolute slowest average for a team is 11.4 seconds. Last year, only the top 11 teams were under 10 seconds. This year, the top 26 teams are all sub 10 in their team average, which is kind of insane. The average competitor's time last year was 11.6 seconds. This year, it's 9.2. That's like more than a 2-second drop. So I, for one, am super excited. What do you think about that, Phil?
Yeah, I'm excited too. And some of these competitors are competitors that chart in very, very competitive global events. We're talking about US Nationals, Euros, Asian Championships. We have a competitor, international student from Asia in this draw this time. And so, yeah, just people that have world-class status as competitive cubers. I guess they're now in college. So it's time for them to throw down in collegiate cubing.
For sure, yeah. We are so excited for that. So without further ado, I'm going to explain how the process is going to run tonight. Basically how it's going to work, as you can see on your screen right now, there are 8 different groups that are each going to have 4 teams. That corresponds to all 32 teams in the tournament. From the pre-seeding we did of all 32 teams, they were broken up into quartiles of 8 teams. So the top 8, then the next 8, next 8, next 8. Those quartiles are going to be our 4 pots for tonight. One team from each of those quartiles is going to go into each pot. So basically, every tournament group is going to have a team from each quartile. Right now, I have pot number 1. So Phil, do you have anything to say before we get started?
I'm just excited to see how this goes out. This draw is designed so that really high-level teams don't have to compete against each other early, but the teams are so close. I think this is going to be one of these tournaments where you might see an upset. Last year, some of these matches we saw, and, I was commentating one of them. I was like, oh no, NYU, like my school. But yeah, I think it's a lot closer this year. It's going to be cool. And yeah, excited to see what teams get thrown in on the draw.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. I mean, I actually forgot to mention that stat. A lot of these teams, while they are ranked by fastest to slowest, some of them are differentiated by only like 1/100th of a second in their team average, which in a variable format like head-to-head cubing, that doesn't amount to much. So I think these matches this semester are going to be super, super competitive. All right, so without further ado, let's get into pot number 1. All right, the teams in this pot are from 25 through 32. We have NC State, University of Texas, University of California, Irvine, Texas A&M, University of Southern California, University of Central Florida, Florida State University, and UC Santa Barbara. Phil, do any of these teams stand out to you?
Yeah, they're the team that contains Tommy Cherry.
Yep.
Tommy Cherry is a beast.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
believe he is
So, yeah, I mean, like these teams, they're at the bottom, but there are still some very, really good standout cubers with really low times. We have some people with 7 averages. And so, yeah, we can count on these players to carry hard and hopefully encourage their teammates to also maybe practice and improve and who knows? Like over the course of this tournament, we might see some actual material improvement in these teams, and they might not be as low ranked as you might think originally.
For sure, yeah. I think it's very easy to look at those high numbers and say, oh, okay, these are all the bad teams. Well, what I want you guys to understand this year is there are no bad teams. Even at the bottom here, we're talking 7-second solvers on some of these teams. All right, without further ado, let's get into the first draw. All right, so in this bucket here, I have some sheets of paper labeled with all 8 teams in pot number 1. I'm going to mix them around a little bit, make sure we get that nice and random. All right. Here we have it. The first team drawn for the 2026 Collegiate Cubing Championship is UC Irvine into group number A.
Nice.
Yep, UC Irvine is a team returning from last year. They didn't make it too far last year, but I believe they have some much, much faster competitors this year. So very excited to see how they'll do. All right, moving on to the second team.
This is the chill part of the draw. There's no friction yet.
Yeah, I know. This is just, one of these teams is going to be in every group, so we don't know any matchups yet based off this.
Yeah.
Next up, we have Florida State University
Nice.
into Group B. Very interesting. We'll see. There's some potential rivalry matchups. I know FSU is not a very big fan of the University of Florida. There's UCF as well as another Florida school, so we'll see if any rivalries end up being drawn into these groups.
I think Cubers are friendly enough. I don't know what you think.
I don't know. I think school spirit kind of trumps a lot of stuff. If we end up with, I'll say as a Bama student, if Bama and Auburn are in the same group, there will be some hot heads, I'll say.
Will there be trash talk?
There will definitely be trash talk. I will not lie. There will definitely be trash talk, but that's part of the fun, isn't it?
I love college trash talk.
All right, team number 3,
Right.
NC State
NC State.
into Group C. Very excited to see how they do. They are one of our new teams this year. All right.
Yeah, NC State is one of those teams where there isn't too much variance between the players. Some of the teams have one really standout player and then another cuber perhaps that's like really far off in terms of performance. NC State is really well rounded.
Yeah, for sure. All right, next up, University of Central Florida into Group D. They are one of our competitors from last year. I noticed them specifically. Last year, they were on the slower side, I'll have to admit, not to diss you guys, but this year you're coming back with some very, very fast solvers. I believe someone was averaging under 8 seconds or around 8 seconds.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, with a 2012 ID too.
Man, okay.
Is that old for college?
I don't know. I guess it all depends when they started cubing.
Yeah, they've been competing for 13 years. That's like half their life, more than half their life.
Very impressive, and that would be very scary if I knew I had to go up against that person.
Yeah.
All right, next up, we have University of Southern California. I believe our good friend Manu Singhal is going to be on the team this year. Super excited to see how he does. I know he was a big fan of the tournament last year.
Yeah. He's one of the voices of cubing.
For sure, for sure.
Oh, it'd be cool to cast him.
Yeah, maybe we'll have him commentate some matches. We'll see. All right.
Yeah.
Next up, University of Texas.
Oh, yeah. We have another Texas school.
Yep.
Section.
Yes, sadly, I know Texas A&M and Texas are a little bit of a rivalry there. They will not get to meet each other in the group stage, but if they both make it through into the championship playoff, that could be a very exciting rivalry match late into the tournament. All right, next up, we have UC Santa Barbara. Once again, another one of those teams that I remember from last year. They had quite a spread on their solvers, but this year, I mean, they definitely stepped up their game. I think they're all close to 10 seconds or under, so they're going to be a good contender this year. All right, and that leaves our last team in pot number 1, Texas A&M. All right. So yeah, like you said, Phil, right now we don't know any matchups yet, no friction yet, but yeah, we got our first teams in the groups and we are started off.
Amazing. All right.
All
So
right.
now we're going to see some matches.
For sure, yeah. Now we're finally going to see some matches. So we are throwing pot 2 into the mix. Let's look at the teams in pot 2.
All right. Looks like we have UPenn,
Yes,
Grand
yes.
Canyon University, NYU, UC San Diego, Yale, Georgia Tech, Alabama, and UC Davis.
Roll Tide, Roll Tide. I'm not
Yep.
gonna pretend to be impartial. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a lot of awesome schools in this bracket that are new to the tournament. Looking at UPenn, Yale, very fast teams. NYU, I'm sure you're happy to see has come back much faster than last year.
Yeah, they have a new team. Looks like entirely different players.
Yeah, that is one of the cool things about college sports is people aren't going to stay at a school for forever. I mean, you have new freshmen coming in every year. So even if a team was really good or really bad last year, that can change in just 1 year as people graduate and new freshmen come in. Alrighty, let's get into the drawing for pot 2 and let's see some matchups. All right, first team from pot number 2, we have Grand Canyon University.
University.
Very
Grand
exciting.
Canyon University. Multiple sub-10 solvers.
For sure.
This is beginning to reach a different caliber.
For sure, yeah. Now that we're into pot number 2, all of the teams from here on out are going to have sub-10 averages for their team. So while technically some teams are ranked higher than others, they're all going to be within solving range of each other for the most part, and there's going to be some exciting matchups. Grand Canyon University, super excited to see you guys. I know you're a new team this year, and yeah, coming out with some very solid solvers. All right, next up we have, oh yes, the University of Alabama. Roll Tide, baby. Oh, we're going to be with Florida State. Okay. Bama fans will know that there is some unfinished business we have with Florida State, so I'm excited to see how that ends up.
Right, so they get to deal with Tommy Cherry.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, I'll say, I mean, speaking for our team, we are definitely a school that's benefited from some incoming freshmen. We have 2 new people that average in the 8-second range, so Tommy Cherry, we're coming for you. All right, next up, we have NYU. Look at that.
NYU. All new NYU team.
Yeah.
Shout outs to NYU.
For sure, for sure.
I was so excited about college cubing last year that I was like, I need to enroll in online school. I'm too old for this, but I need to somehow get into school again.
Yeah. Do you think you'd make the team?
No, not NYU. This team. Yeah, they're much better than me.
Okay.
These
I
are
guess
serious competitive cubers.
that is awesome. That's good. Yeah, I guess that's good for you then. So, all right. Let's see what we got up next. We have Yale University. That is a new team as well. Very happy to see some Ivy League representation in cubing. I believe their fastest member, Xavier, is the Maryland State record holder. So they have some heavy hitters on there.
Yeah, Maryland is a huge cubing region, and it has been a huge cubing region for a very long time.
For sure. Yeah, I think we'll see that later at the University of Maryland all the way in our last pot. All right, next up, University of Pennsylvania, UPenn, another Ivy League school.
We have some really nice.
Yep. Yeah, once again, definitely a heavy hitter. I remember looking at their times. They are incredibly fast. I think Darren Saito is their fastest cuber, coming in with some 6 or 7 second averages sometimes. So that's got to be scary.
Yeah, that guy also makes really cool content.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah,
All right, well.
He makes some really out of the box, really fun stuff. So if you have time, you can go watch his stuff. It's really interesting.
For sure, yeah. Good shout out for Darren. All right, next up, we have UC San Diego. Once again, one of those UC teams coming back. I believe they made it decently far last year, but maybe not even to the semifinals this year. Definitely a much more competitive team.
Yeah, they're very young as competitive cubers. Their WCIDs, we have a 2023, 2024, 2024. So they're very fast, but just getting into competition, it looks like.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's really cool to see. Yeah, we love to see some new competitors showing up and already competing at such a high level. That's amazing. All right, second to last here, we have Georgia Tech. This is another really good school. I know, being in Alabama, I know some of the Georgia Tech guys. Fun to go to competitions with them. I think Justin's going to be leading their team. He's a previous Missouri State champion. And yeah, I think they had a pretty good run in the tournament last year, so it'll be exciting to see how they do. All right,
One more?
Yes, that leaves our last team in this pot, UC Davis. Once again, very fast school from last year. Yeah, super excited to see how they do this year. All right, so with those teams drawn, let's take a look at what matchups we have formed now. Oh, well, sorry, John, we'll go to that one next. All right, so does anything stand out to you right off the bat, Phil?
I mean, these teams are really close to each other, and so it's going to be really hard to see who's going to win what. Yeah, definitely. I think that. What do you think? Is the competition going to be more competitive between the two like schools from the bottom two groups or the top two groups? And
Oh,
who's
that's a
winning?
tough one. I think definitely, I mean, they're all going to be close. Like I said, we're very squished together with these averages. Towards the top, though, it does get kind of insane. I mean, we're talking teams separated by hundredths of a second, like I was talking earlier. So those ones are really anybody's game, and obviously that's going to be the top level solving. So those are probably the ones I'm most excited to see.
Hmm. Yeah, I think this one is really like anybody can win if they have an on day, and got to keep in mind this is head to head,
Yeah.
and this is the format that is notorious for really punishing you if you're not emotionally ready to race head to head. And so, yeah, this is going to be a feeling a lot of these competitors have to get used to.
For sure, yeah. I mean, as Martin would want me to make sure I say, pressure is the name of the game, especially when you're on a live stream in front of an audience. It comes down to, one solve. You don't get a break in your average. I mean, every solve counts, and we saw that last year. Some competitors cracked under pressure, some succeeded under pressure. So yeah, really anything can happen. That's the name of the game in head-to-head. All right. Well, moving on, we are going to get to pot three. Just getting faster and faster as we go through here. Let's take a look at the teams in pot three. All right,
Yep.
we got.
Virginia.
Yeah, you go ahead. Sorry.
All right. Yeah. Virginia Tech, CMU, UNC, University of Washington, Brown, University of Texas at Dallas, Penn State, and Auburn. So one cool fact about this group is that there is a competitor from Virginia Tech that hasn't competed yet in WCA.
I did see that. Yeah, and he was rocking. For competitors that hadn't competed officially, we had to use self-reported times to get their average, and I believe this guy was sitting somewhere around an 8 to 7 second average. So that's going to be very scary. Yeah. Okay.
High seven. This person is a wild card.
Yeah. Yeah. So we expect great things, but yeah, maybe he's even faster than that. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows? Yeah, we'll find out.
All right. Let's get into pot number three. All right. First team drawn from pot number three, we have University of Washington. This is a very interesting team I'm excited to see, new to the tournament this year.
University of Washington has DQH. DQH is a competitor from Vietnam who rules in big cubes. He's a really funny dude. If you watch his YouTube, it's littered with humor and also big cube ridiculousness. So, yeah, this is his first time, I guess, competing in the States, and we'll see how he goes.
Yeah, super excited to see that. Yeah, if I remember correctly, he is top 10 in the world for 4x4 through 7x7 or something like that. So definitely world class. So
Yeah.
all right, next up from pot number three, we have Auburn.
Auburn.
Yeah. How do you feel about Auburn after what happened last year?
I mean, Auburn's sitting in a much better place. So yeah, I think that Auburn's chances are pretty strong. They have one, one really strong solver, and then everyone else seems like they can also pull their weight. So yeah, definitely, I think in this group at least,
For sure,
I think they'll
yeah.
be
I
fine.
know they have Micah Morrison as their fastest on their team. I've competed with him before. That is a very scary guy. He is a fast solver. And our good friend Nate Hunter as well is on that team and Kevin too. So hey guys, if you're watching. All right, next up from pot number 3, we have UNC Chapel Hill.
Yeah, UNC Chapel Hill has longtime competitors. Like these guys compete a lot. Like Carrie, Zach, just they're kind of everywhere. We see them all the time in competitions. So yeah, definitely very experienced team.
For sure, yeah, and they went pretty far in our tournament last year. I remember Carrie actually pulled out one of the top 10 fastest solves in the whole tournament at 5:23. So we'll probably see a bunch more than this year, 5-second solves, but he is definitely going to be towards
Yeah.
the top of the pack, I'm expecting. All right, next up, we have Carnegie Mellon.
Carnegie Mellon.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean Carnegie Mellon has some again very experienced competitors. These are competitors with relatively older IDs. I think out of all the teams in this bracket, they have the oldest IDs on average.
Wow, that is interesting. Okay.
Yeah, 2014, 2017, 2016. So these are people who've competed as kids.
Yeah, these are okay. That is very interesting to hear that these are veteran competitors because when we were talking about how much
Yep.
pressure plays a role in this, that experience is going to come in very, very helpful when you really need to make a solve count in the moment. All right, moving on to our next team, we have Penn State.
And State in Group E.
Yep. All right, well, we got 2 Pennsylvania schools. I don't know if there's any big rivalries between them, but that'll be interesting to see. I feel like any proximity makes schools a little bit rivals.
Yeah, just need to get Drexel in there.
For sure, yeah. Drexel, if you're watching, get a Cube Club started next year.
Yeah.
All right, next up, we have Brown University.
Brown.
This is a new team we are very excited for.
Yeah, Brown was cool. We went to, I guess we got really close to Brown going to USA All-Stars in Providence, Rhode Island. So we saw a ton of, yeah, Brown students. It's a really awesome place. And so they'll be bringing their best from Rhode Island.
Yeah, I believe their fastest competitor is Hewan. He is competing at the national level. I think he was at that competition to compete in Megaminx, but also crazy fast at 3x3.
Yep.
All right, moving on, second to last in this pot, we are going to have UT Dallas.
UT Dallas. I don't know too much about this team, but they're all great cubers.
Yeah, they are one of our new teams, so we haven't had a chance to see too much of what they can do, but yeah, looking at their stats, they are amazing cubers. Like we said, all these teams are going to be super competitive, so definitely going to be fun to watch them. All right, and that only leaves one team left in pot number 3, Virginia Tech.
Virginia Tech. That's the team with the no WCA ID. And this is where you get to, from the team's perspective, from the like lower groups, you get to see some people with some international recognition. You know, can you imagine just showing up to a match and you're competing against the guy who's top 10 in the world for multiple big cubes? Wonder how that feels.
Yeah, that is
There.
very scary. Yeah, unbelievable. All right, let's take a look at some of the matchups that we have after that drawing. Any of these groups stand out to you now, Phil?
Yeah, I think so. It's still. I feel like so when we're competing, when we're comparing the bottom quartile with the third quartile, we're like, oh, it's pretty close. I feel like quartiles 2 and 3 are also pretty close.
Yes, if I
You know,
remember
I still
correct.
think,
Sorry.
yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I was just going to say, I mean, I remember looking at the stats. I probably should have mentioned this earlier, but yeah, looking at those middle quartiles, I don't remember if it is 2 or 3. One of them, every team is only is within a half second of each other. They're all super closely grouped. So that's going to make it super competitive. I have to draw people's attention to Group C as a North Carolina resident. I'm seeing a big rivalry lining up there. Tar Heels versus Wolfpack. That is going to be super exciting to watch. I'm already excited for that one.
And my guys are just stuck there.
Yep.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, I think it's also interesting to note, like a lot of these teams in the second and third quartile have at least one standout solver that's really strong. And I think the first seeds compete against each other. Yeah, it could be anyone's game there. So I think this might come down to how the other players play against each other as well.
Definitely, yeah. And after we get all the group stage done, we're going to be taking 14 teams to the playoff. So even if all the top seeded teams just overperform and they end up winning and going to the championship playoff, there's still 6 more other teams that are going to be moving on. And that's where all this fighting between these really close teams is going to come down and determine who moves on. All right. We are now down to the last pot, pot number 4, with our 8 best teams. Let's take a look at who's in here.
Yeah, this is the group where the competitors have very high level international experience. You see the oldest UCA IDs, and yeah, some very, very big names. We have Columbia University, Ohio State, UW-Madison, UC Berkeley, Rutgers, University of Florida, UCLA, and University of Maryland. So yeah, if you stick around and keep watching, you might recognize some of the people on these teams.
Yes, I would venture to say so. Not to spoil anything, but yeah, these teams have some incredible competitors that we're going to learn about in a sec. All right, let's get this kicked off. First team drawn from pot number 4. We have Rutgers University.
I grew up around Rutgers. Really, really cool campus. Really, really big school. And so Rutgers is carrying Sean Mack, Daniel Carnock, and Max Chan. All 3 cubers I kind of grew up competing with and just knowing for the longest time. And so, yeah, these are 3 really strong cubers who've been around and seen a lot of cubing.
That's amazing. Yeah, especially if those guys, I mean, they grew up competing with each other in that same area. That's really cool to hear. Yeah, super scary team. Super excited to see what they do. All right, second team that we're going to draw out. We have Ohio State. Oh, sorry, the Ohio State University. They're going to get mad if I don't say that.
Oh, yeah. Nice. So, the Ohio State has some pretty awesome cubers. We have the monkey of lasers, Philip Lewicki, who has all the experience in the world competing, watching other people compete, designing how other people compete. He does it all. And yeah, Jack Piper also performs super well at USA All-Stars. Evan Wright, very, very experienced cuber. This is a really balanced, experienced team.
Yeah, that's what I was going to highlight. When I was looking at their times, I mean, they are all consistently around the same time, which is really scary. A lot of these teams, you have somebody super, super fast that's at the front, and then fast teammates, but they're not quite the same. Ohio State, they're all sitting around a very scary, I believe, if I remember correctly, around a 7-second average or somewhere in the middle there. So very scary team.
They're all in the 7s.
Yeah,
all
and
in
I
the
will
sevens.
note that they did take third place in last year's tournament, so they're coming back to try and take gold or silver for sure. All right, next team drawn. We have University of Wisconsin-Madison.
Strong team, strong team. This this is the team that did so much damage last year. Yeah, I think they lost Carter Kukala, but they have yeah, replaced them with I believe Simon Kellum. Yeah, just very strong team. You gotta respect the winners, right?
For sure, yeah. They are our current Collegiate Cubing champions from last year's tournament. If one thing sticks in my memory from that team, it is Zeke Mackey taking on Ethan Jan in the final. Ethan Jan seemed to be so far ahead of everyone else, but Zeke was sticking with him, and that was probably one of my favorite head-to-heads the whole tournament. All right, let's move on to the next draw. All right, we have UCLA.
UCLA, again, very balanced team. We have yeah, some very experienced competitors too. We have a 2015 ID and a 2016 ID. So experienced cubers. They will be huh, I guess everyone in that group's from a different area of the country.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that is very
See how
cool.
it goes.
Yeah, that's one of the cool things about this tournament is we have schools from literally all across the country, West Coast, East Coast, Midwest, North, South. So these competitors from all over, and it's really cool that we get to have a tournament like this that brings them all together. So yeah, that'll be a very cool group to see. All right, next team, University of Maryland.
Right. Cool. Yeah, University of Maryland is at the bottom of this quartile, but don't let that fool you. I mean, these are clearly very good cubers. Maryland was a hotbed for cubing when I was competing when I was younger. They were so good that you could be top 10 in the world in OH and get fifth in OH at a Maryland comp.
That is ridiculous.
Pretty wild. Like Pyraminx in Ohio.
Yeah,
Also very dangerous.
for sure. Yeah, and they are one of our teams. If I remember correctly, they were actually one of the teams to compete in our very first match last year. So super excited to have them back, and they have come back with a vengeance. They are much faster than last year. So yeah, very scary team. Excited to see how they do. All right, getting towards the end of this bucket here. Our next team is going to be UC Berkeley, second place team from last
Yeah.
year.
Yeah, Berkeley had such a good run last year. One thing I noticed with UC Berkeley was that they had amazing team chemistry. The players were smiling at each other. I believe they were speaking to each other in Cantonese,
Yes, I
which
think I
was
remember
really
that. Yeah.
interesting. Yeah, I remember that. I understand only a little bit, but like their team chemistry seems really on point. They were just really happy to be in the room with each other, and I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, and obviously, maybe we don't even need to say it, but Ethan Jan leading that team, full ZBLL, insanely scary solver. He was the only person to pull off a sub-5 solve last year. So yeah, he is going to be leading the pack, I'm assuming, in this year's tournament. Very excited to see them solve. All right, down to our final two teams. Next one we are going to have is University of Florida.
Yeah, this is another pretty balanced team with some pretty experienced competitors. Yeah, with you know 7, 8 experience years of experience in the WCA. So it's a very solid team, and yeah, I think they'll be very comfortable in Group G.
Yeah. Yeah, super excited to see them. They're one of our new teams. A lot of fast cubers in the Florida area, and glad to see UF join our tournament. I've said it a million times now, but they are a very scary team. All right, and that leaves us with our last team for the draw of the group stage of the 2026 Collegiate Cubing Championship. We have our number 1 seed, Columbia University.
Columbia University. That is the final boss. I think Columbia University has the scariest competitor by far, but I wonder if other teams find them exploitable because at the end of the day, sometimes you're only as strong as your weakest player. And by no means is anyone here weak, but yeah, definitely, I think Colombia's other 2 players have to be really careful to win at least one of their matches. And yeah, I think otherwise Maddie seems pretty invincible.
Yeah, it is. It is hard to imagine any of these teams taking a shot at Maddie. Once again, it is head-to-head cubing, so you never know what could happen. But yeah, Columbia is a very, very scary team. Maddie coming off that NAR average, just to really cement him as I believe he's definitely in the top 10 worldwide, maybe number 6 or something, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, he's definitely, yeah, he's got so much experience. He's ranked 6th in the world for average. Uh, yeah, it's just so much Monkey League, so many major championship finals in rooms full of people staring at him and filming. And yeah, but you know what? At the end of the day, he's only one guy.
Very, very true.
So
Yeah.
schools going up against Columbia. Um, yeah, hopefully you should remember that Maddie's only one guy.
Yeah, these teams have 3 people for a reason. It's not a single person determining how this goes. Your whole team needs to work together to bring your school out on top. So yeah, well, like we said earlier, there's nobody bad, especially in these top of these groups. So Columbia is going to be a very, very good competitor. All right, so with our groups formed, let's take a second to look at all 8 groups. Phil, any of them strike your eye right off the bat?
Yeah, I just wanna see how the top seeds deal with, I guess, the second seeds. I think they're going to be pretty confident against the other teams. If you just look at the numbers, I'm sure all these numbers you can, if you're interested enough, you can just look them up and kind of try to simulate or visualize how it'll go. It'll really come down to, yeah, how do they handle teams that are really close to each other? And I do want to see some of the geographical proximity rivalries. I want to see something special there.
Yeah, on that
I,
note, I just realized Group B, we have an Iron Bowl situation. Alabama versus
yes,
Auburn. I'm so pumped right now. That's going to be awesome.
yeah, yeah. I want to see. I didn't think Cubers were capable of this type of trash talk, or intensity in the rivalry. Cubing has always been super nice and friendly. I want to be surprised.
For sure, yeah. Like I said, college sports can really bring out people's competitive side. It's such a fun thing. It's such an honor to be able to represent your school, and it puts some pressure on you. And so that pressure can, yeah, really bring out the nerves, really bring out these rivalries. So yeah, like I mentioned earlier, Group C, Group B with some big rivalries there. But yeah, all of these groups looking very competitive. Very interested to see how they go. If I didn't mention it already, within each of these groups, every team will play every other team in their group, so it's going to be a round robin.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, what I really want to see is healthy, fair competition, great team chemistry, just like how I saw in that final with UC Berkeley. I want to see people really happy to be in the same room with their teammates and just really happy to support and winning gracefully, taking losses professionally, and encouraging their teammates to be better. I think yeah, that's something that I might want to ask a lot of these players at the end of the tournament. Like, what did that team spirit mean to you, and how has that helped you get better as a teammate and a cuber? And hopefully, we'll get some really interesting answers.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Yeah, I remember when we were first planning on starting this competition, I mean, one of the big things we wanted was to really foster a community for college cubers, because before this tournament, there wasn't anything too formal, but we wanted a way to, connect these schools all the way across the country, give them a place to have some healthy, fun competition, but more importantly, like you're saying, yeah, just foster more of the cubing community, grow more connections, push yourself to be better, and yeah, have some great teamwork and a great time.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty, well, with that, that will conclude our drawing of the group stage for the 2026 Collegiate Cubing Championship. All of you should stay tuned for our upcoming match announcements. We will start matches in January after the Christmas break. If you want more information, you can go to our website, which is ccchamps.org. There you can find a list of all the teams, all the groups that we just sorted tonight, as well as the rosters for every team, so you can look and see who will be competing. I want to thank Phil. Thank you so much for coming out tonight. Thank you, John, for running the stream over here. And thank you guys all so much for watching.
Yeah, thanks for having me. This is really exciting. I'm going to be watching all these matches. It's going to be a lot of fun.
For sure, yeah. Everyone should make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, which you're watching on right now. This is where we'll be streaming all the matches. We hope to see you then. With that, I hope you all have a great night. Thank you for tuning in, and we will see you later.
All right, see you later. Thanks for watching.